Welcome back to Feather and Bone TV. This week I want to talk about the hunt for this guy, a buck I call Browse. And I first saw him in 2018 along the Kentucky River. Beautiful bluff country, rolling hills, no agriculture or food plots anywhere for miles. So kind of a tough area to hunt. But I first saw him in 2018. Didn't have any trail cameras on the farm that year, so I don't have any pics to share. But in 2019, when he was 4.5, he added about maybe 15 inches of antler. Not too much more for mass, but his brow tines got really long. And I knew that he was a deer that I was going to keep tabs on. Didn't know if I was going to go after him really, because I had some other nice deer and some other properties, but just a really nice buck. Actually, as luck would have it, I killed the deer on opening day of 2020 season here in Kentucky. But this year in 2022, while coyote hunting, I picked up his left side.
Son of a gun. Alright, I'm gonna go and sell the collar.
And what made this deer unique was his brow tines. Of course, the squirrels got to him and chewed it all off. And sometimes that happens. You'll find the shed of a deer that you were after, and ultimately you harvest it, and then you find it later. So cool animal. But in 2019, he added quite a bit for brow tine length and main beams, but he wasn't that massive, and I knew he needed at least one more year. So I got pictures of him in 2019. And you can see some of the pictures here. Really nice deer. And then from 2019 to 2020, he put on about 20 to 25 inches. And at age 5.5, I thought, this is a deer that I definitely want to put on the hit list. So I'm very proud of this animal. On that same property, there was this deer, a buck I call Tank. And I first saw him in person in 2017 at age 4.5. And I got pictures of him in 2018, 19, 20, and 21. 8.5-year-old monarch. And although that deer was definitely tempting, and he was coming in like clockwork in August and September, right before bow season, he kind of disappeared on me. So it's kind of tough to kill a deer that is no longer around. But about 2 weeks before bow season started, he was hanging out with this deer and another deer I call Lone Ranger. But then he kind of just disappeared on me, and I don't know where he went. But when this deer came in on opening day, I had to take him. He was about 16, 17 yards away, something like that, I'm guessing. And I had a small little opening, had to take him. But I'm going to show some pictures here first before I dive into the hunt. All right, you can see a bird's eye view of the farm. It's shaped like a reversed L. And the very top of the screen is a small stock pond for the cattle. Just to the east or to the right of that is a gate where I come in. And 85% of the farm is open pasture with just a strip of timber that runs north and south along the east side of the property. And then there's an open field right in the middle. And then at the very far west corner is another rectangular shape section of woods as well, and that's where my stand was located. Alright, I'm going to break down the route that I took on opening day. So to the east of the pond is a gate, that's where I come through, and you can see the pink dots. That's the route that I took driving in through the cow pasture. And then the first large dot is where I parked, and with the wind out of the southwest, I was able to change into my hunting clothes and then walk down to the south-southwest with the wind in my face to the second pink dot, which is where my stand is located. The red dot is traditionally where Tank likes to bed, and the two green dots are where Lone Ranger and Browse were bedding on opening day. The yellow dot is where my mock scrape is located. And every year for about the last 15 years I've been using Smokey's pre-orbital lure. And in the picture above here you can see me doctoring the licking branch right before climbing up into the tree. So the wind was perfect when I first arrived to the property. And although the wind shifted from the southwest to the northeast, I didn't really worry about that because although Browse and Lone Ranger would end up coming in from east of my stand, circling to get downwind of the scrape to scent check it before coming in, I was about 22, 23 feet up into the tree. But on top of that, the woods is a steep drop off down towards the fence line. And the fence line was probably about another, 6-7 feet below the base of my tree stand, right? So my scent stream was about 30 or so feet above the nose of both deer, so it wasn't a problem. All right, last two maps. The smaller green dots were the direction that both Lone Ranger and Browse were traveling, and the X is ultimately where I shot Browse. And then after the shot, you can see the direction that Browse ran towards the east, and the second X is where he finally expired. All right, now that we've gone through those maps and you kind of see what happened during the hunt, now I'm actually going to show you the hunt itself. So I hope you enjoy it. All right, it's September 5th, 2020. Opening day of the Kentucky archery deer season. I'm in my stand. Here's the buck I'm after right here. That's my number one buck. My number two buck is this guy right here. So we'll see what happens. I made a mock scrape right down below the stand, about 10 yards away, in late July. And by the first or second week of August, pretty much every buck in the area started to hit it. And they've been hitting ever since. So now the question is, will they come in tonight? We'll find out. Pretty excited. Been waiting about 10 months. Gotta love it. I'm gonna show this scrape right here below the stand.
Here's a nice trail camera picture of Lone Ranger, the buck that Browse was traveling with.
I center punched it though. I got down. Check my arrow. Complete pass through, as I thought. Looks like a classic double lung, so should be a short recovery, but I'm gonna stay in the stand for another hour before I get down. I've never killed a buck on opening day of an archery season. I killed one a couple years ago here in Kentucky on the second day that I went out, which is about 7 or 8 days later after the opening day. Spot and stalk, but never killed one on opening day. About 4.5 hours into the season.
Because these deer were so close, I couldn't rotate the entire camera arm. So I just spun it around 180 degrees, tipped it down, hit record, and by zooming in you can see how small the opening was that I had to shoot through. So I'm glad it worked out.
I waited about 50 minutes before I got down, and I filmed that little tiny 8-point in that doe. There's another doe behind her too. So I got down on this trail, just walked along this fence line. I said, I'm just gonna get down maybe 75 yards or so, and that's all the further I'm gonna go. And there was another deer over here. I think it was Lone Ranger that was with him that spooked. But I found him. He's right here. He ran maybe, I don't know, maybe 75 yards. All right. I haven't walked up to him yet, so this will be exciting. Mr. Browse ran about 75 yards, piled up. Mainframe 5x5 with 2 extra kickers at the base. Passed him up last year, decided to not do that this year. He was right underneath me, and I said to myself, if I can pull this off with the camera, I'm gonna go ahead and take him. Yeah, it's pretty awesome to be able to do that. So, yeah, here he is. He ran, like I said, 75 yards and piled up. He was with another buck I call Lone Ranger. Could have shot, could have held off for tank, but I figure, like, one in the hand's better than 2 in the bush, and the season's long, but I mean, to have it on camera like that was pretty awesome. So I'm tickled to death. He's got about 7 inches of velvet still dangling on there. Got a little extra kind of funky little tine kicking out from the main beam underneath his G4 there. Pretty cool. Brows, look at those brow tines, especially that right one. now the work starts. I gotta pack them out. deer is not fun, but with the VersaCart it makes it a lot easier. Oh yeah. What a way to end the day. God, that was hard. Dragging him out of the woods. He was down the very bottom of the hill, of course. Took me 25 minutes to get him up here, but the old Bowtech Tribute did the trick again. I've shot like 40 deer with that bow already over the years. It's been really good to me. So anyway, just recap on the story. What a beautiful evening. I got in the stand about 1:30, and both Tank and Browse and a buck I call Lone Ranger, a buck that was with him tonight, has been coming in lately between 5 and 6. Tank's been coming in on the 30th and 31st and 1st. He came in middle of the day because of full moon, probably. But I just wanted to be in the stand plenty early, and I got in the stand, got all set up, and saw 3 gobblers come out from the north off this field behind the camera. And they kind of turned, mosey around, and in the woods, and then went back out in the field, got some footage. It wasn't that great, it was kind of thick. But they came in, and then after the gobblers left, I was looking straight ahead, and right over to my left, about 10 yards below me, directly downwind, was Lone Ranger. I saw him first, and I looked to the left of him, and Browse was there. I was like, all right, well, Tank's not coming. He stopped hanging out with these other bucks about 2 weeks ago, so I didn't suspect that he would, but my heart skipped a beat, and he didn't show up. So I had the camera pointed due north, and they came from south, and they came in downwind along the property line, right along the fence, and we're going to turn probably after confirming that everything was safe and the coast was clear, and then coming right up to the scrape. Well, they didn't do that. They kind of turned, and we're going to go back the way they came, and if they would have taken maybe 2 more steps, they would have been behind a wall of brush, and I wouldn't be able to get the shot. So at about 15-16 yards, I took the shot. I had to turn the camera 180 degrees, and my safety belt got caught on the bottom of the camera arm, so it was like making a squeaking noise. You probably hear that on camera. But I just kind of did a 180, tilted it down, tried to center it as quickly as possible, took the bow off the hook. As soon as Lone Ranger turned and faced away from me, hit this guy. His head was covered by some raspberry bushes, and so I came to full draw in that little tiny window of opportunity, and when I anchored down behind the front shoulder, I hit him right through the heart, and he ran 70 yards. You can see how long this guy's brow tines are. That's why I call him Browse, obviously. He has 2 extra tines, kicker tines in the front. This one's about 2 inches. This one's about 1.5. He'll go in the 150s, something like that. You know, I could have held out. It's the first day I've never shot a buck in any state on opening day, and got it on camera nonetheless, so it made it that much more of a trophy. So now I can just take my time and just kind of go out when the wind is perfect, and slip into my best stands and get some really good buck footage, and maybe film for a friend of mine, and get a couple on-camera doe kills. But I'm done in Kentucky, for bucks anyway. Man, I didn't want to attempt to zoom in because I couldn't even see the LCD screen. I just saw a little sliver of it, basically, from like upside down, so I had to kind of like judge, because they came again from a completely different direction. Man, all the preparation, the planning, sometimes they just don't read the script. Look at that. Look at those brow tines.